And welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by JJC Athletics. I'm your host, Damian Dennis, and this week we're going to be talking about men's basketball. So I'm joined by Coach Danny Turner. Danny, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, so before we begin, I have to correct myself from last week. We had Coach Braun on for baseball, and I said we were having softball on this week. I got my weeks mixed up. Softball's next week, so to anyone watching and who may want to hold me accountable for that. But we're here to pretty much wrap up the regular season and preview your postseason, Danny. You ended the regular season 19-8 overall. You went on, I think it was an 11-game win streak at one point. You know, just how are you feeling about this team with, you know, the regular season complete, heading into the postseason? You know, you guys look ready to go. Sixth ranked team in the country, you know.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, just looking at it from the very beginning, I mean, we won our first 4 games of the season, and then we lost 4 straight. Hit adversity early, if you will. And then, of course, like you alluded to, we went 11 games on a winning streak, and then we lost, I think, 3 in a row or something like that, 2 or 3, and then won 1 or 2, and it kept going. But we won our last one. Regular season game, and so we're thrilled about the growth of this year's team.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about that growth. I know before we hit record here, we were talking about, you know, the leadership of some of your players. We were talking about, you know, just kind of seeing them evolve over the season, especially your freshmen, because you get your, you know, those new faces pretty heavily involved. You know, let's highlight some of those student athletes and kind of where they've grown over the course of the season.
Well, I tell you what, let's start with Devon Richardson. Everything's feeds off of him. He's our 6'8" center, and he's, in terms of just being a vocal leader, he's always led by example, but just being a vocal leader this year has really helped us. Has also helped tremendously the freshmen. So he's definitely been a role model for us. And then, of course, we definitely have to mention Miles Gillespie. He's our point guard. He gets us in our offense and starts our defense. And he's really grown in that aspect as well. And then our leading scorer at a 15-point game clip is Romello Ali. You know, he was nominated for an All-American last year, and he's been really steady for us with his leadership.
Let's talk a little bit about Melo there, because I know the last couple of weeks he's just went pretty. He's performed to a high level. You know,
Yes.
What was it? Was it 35 points one week?
Yeah, he had 30 points, like 1 turnover, 6 assists in our last outing.
Yeah. You know, what have you liked out of him? You know, I know he played, obviously he was here last year, just seeing his growth and kind of where he's at currently.
Well, I tell you what, you know, he's just been really steady. He's such a high competitor. I mean, he just really gets after it, and he has high expectations for himself. Sometimes when you have a player of that magnitude, you got to try to get him to just, you know, almost like calm down and be even keeled, you know. But he has high expectations, just like I have for him.
Now let's talk a little bit about your opponent this weekend. You're traveling. You're facing Owens in the your first postseason matchup here. Mm-hmm. You know, what are you kind of looking forward to from your team, but also what are you expecting from Owens in terms of trying to stop the Wolves?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, they're going to face the number 6 team in the country, like you mentioned before. If you want to, you know, mention that ranking in this, but they're going to be competitive. You know, number one, they're playing at home. They won their last game, so they're going to look to, invite us in and give us a game. You know, when we're looking at across the category, though, in the regular season, we have higher stats than they do. Like, for instance, they're averaging 74.7 points a game, and we're right below 82 points a game, just to name one. But it's March Madness, you know, so I'm sure they're going to be ready to compete, and we will be as well.
Yeah. Now, I you know this probably better than even I do, but the stats, they don't necessarily mean anything, especially come postseason time. Some teams you could be the better team overall on paper, but you may not match up well. When you're actually in the action. How do you kind of prepare your team for like, hey, we're this and this better than them, but we need to make sure we're performing to that level?
Yeah. At this point of the year, you just want to pinpoint the camaraderie. We emphasize that we're a talking team. For example, we're constantly communicating, reinforcing that as a staff, communicating during dead ball situations in the game. Our bench is communicating. We're communicating during timeouts. So we want to be a talking team. So you really want to emphasize that to keep that camaraderie in the postseason play. And our kids are very aware of adversity. I alluded to that a little earlier, but they've experienced all that. Even from the flu to injuries, winning streaks versus losing streaks. So we've been through it all. Not to mention playing a highly competitive schedule.
Now, I want to kind of backtrack a little bit to that winning streak because I didn't get a chance to bring you onto the podcast during that. I wanted to, but so many other moving pieces going on. But, during that stretch, how do you kind of keep your team, I guess, even keeled, kind of like in the mindset of, like, don't get too cocky, basically? We've got this win streak, but we could lose it at any point. How do you keep kind of everybody's composure during that stretch?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we continue to have competitive practices because everything starts in that classroom environment where we want kids to rely on each other. How do you respond when you like turn the ball over, or you make a bad play, or you miss a shot? And then to coincide with that, how do you respond when your teammate makes a bad play, or the official calls a foul on you and you disagree, So just really working on those things, iron out those wrinkles, man, so we can prepare for postseason play. So we just harp on just, being a team, in all facets, because obviously you got to be physically tough and you got to be mentally tough. And so that socialization of that within our program, we just, that's a point of emphasis for us.
Yeah. And let's talk just a little bit about let's compare this year's team to last year's team a little bit because
How dare you?
I can't remember off the top of my head where you guys were at and whatnot, but I mean, last year you made the tournament. Sure. You went, I think, 1-1 last year in the tournament. So like you kind of set the bar last year. Where you're at this year, you've already, at least in terms of the regular season, you've already surpassed where you guys were at this time a year ago. How do you kind of keep building upon, this success year after year?
Yeah, I tell you what, we've established a culture. I think that's the utmost of importance in any program, and you just want to be consistent with your culture. Zero tolerance, for example, in certain things, and just getting kids to grow. And having various points of emphasis, but recruiting. Not to take anything away from last year's team, I think we went beyond expectations, but you got to have players. And I think that we can lay our hat on improving our caliber of players. So recruiting is every day, and you got to continue to do that. And I think we've done that. So we've gotten better each year. This is our third year, and each year, based on recruiting, we've improved that area to lead us to some success.
Now, Danny, we can start wrapping up here because I know we're going to bring Devon in sure. after you. But what are you kind of hoping just to see out of your team this weekend? Obviously, or this weekend and moving deeper into the postseason. Obviously, we know what the end goal is. You want to win that national championship. You want to make a run. But other than the winning aspect, what are you hoping to see?
Well, I'm just hoping the kids just be highly competitive. Everything that we worked for thus far in the beginning of October 1st up until the very next game. Just being highly competitive, being a strong, cohesive unit where we're relying on each other and everybody's playing their role.
Cool. Well, Danny, hopefully next time we get you on here, it'll be celebrating a championship, a deep run, whatever it ends up being. I just hope you guys have all the success, through this next month or so.
Well, Damien, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and also to share some of our program values and goals and things of that nature. So we appreciate the kind words, and we'll hopefully be seeing you soon.
And next up here on Coffee with the Wolves, I'm joined by men's basketball player Devon Richardson. Devon, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate it.
So you got to be feeling pretty excited. Postseason's just about to begin for you guys. Actually, at the time this releases, you're going to be on your way to Owens, who you face Saturday at 2 p.m. our time.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to with, just this opportunity to compete in the postseason, represent JJC, at that level?
I'm looking forward to the experience again, and like you said, just competing and playing our hardest, and and seeing what the outcome would be from just like competing really.
Yeah.
That's what I'm ready for.
Now, we just had Coach Turner on, and before I even hit record with him, we were talking a little bit about your growth over the season, and he mentioned just you coming into your own as a leader, being vocal on the floor, and just doing your part and kind of inspiring your teammates during a game. Can you speak a little bit about, that growth from your perspective, how you've become, kind of a centerpiece for this team?
Yeah. It starts with it's really being a sophomore, as Coach called it, a veteran to a junior college program. I just thought that if I was vocal, maybe, to make a difference, like on the court, I'm just trying to be more of a leader, and I'm one of the oldest guys, so, I have like a higher maturity level, so I just want to be that role model for the younger guys, and they'll listen because,
How do you approach that, kind of being that role model for your teammates? Do they come to you with their problems, whether it's basketball related or something else, or do you approach them?
Most definitely. Like the three sophomores, they'll come and ask us questions. They'll come and ask us questions. Hold on, can you ask that question one more time?
Yeah. No, just like how do you approach that?
Okay.
Being a role model
I got it now,
for
I got
your
it now.
teammates. Yeah.
Yeah, just holding everybody accountable.
Yeah.
You goofing off in practice. Not just one person is getting picked on or yelled at. It's everybody. It's because we a team. So, basically just holding people accountable. That's the biggest deal. Just once you hold everybody accountable, then,
There's been a few times. Obviously, you've seen me during a game. I'm kind of nearby with my camera. I've seen at times over the season in the home games, one of your teammates getting frustrated, if shots don't fall or whatever the situation might be. And from your perspective, how do you kind of approach maybe helping your teammates or even yourself when you have those moments of frustration on the court?
how I help my teammates if they missing shots, I tell them next shot, like keep shooting. We gonna miss shots. We human. So I just tell them just keep shooting, pick your head up. And for me, I kind of try to talk to myself. Sometimes I can catch myself putting my head down after I miss a shot or something. So I just try to stay positive, tell myself that it's only one shot. You're going to shoot way more, just make the next one.
Now, averaging just shy of 15 points a game for the season, double-doubles left and right, how do you feel your play on the court's kind of grown from the start of the season to now, and even from last year?
Well, I could talk about from last year to now. I'm running the floor better this year, higher field goal percentage. I think I was at 60 last year, and I'm at maybe 66 or 67. That's what Coach was telling me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I developed more of just better movement on the floor and getting to my spots better.
Yeah. And I'm gonna ask you about some of the freshmen on the team because they're the newbies. They've got the full season under the belt now, so can't really call them newbies anymore. But but they're going into the postseason play for the first time at the college level. What kind of advice are you giving them, kind of just about approaching it mentally or physically?
Take care of your body and take it serious because this year's you see how fast it went, and next year's gonna go the same way. So just cherish the moment and be in the moment.
Yeah. What kind of things does Coach Turner and his staff do to kind of prepare you for this moment? Because again, Owens on Saturday, it's the start of the postseason, and you guys are looking to make a run. What has he done to kind of get you guys prepared to make that run?
A lot of film. And during
You say film. I come into the office, and he was in there eating ribs, I think,
Yeah,
for lunch, watching film.
yeah, a lot of film. We have a lot of film. Well, we've been having a lot of film, and then how they do it now this year is different from last year. We have like scout papers. Coach Turner and Coach Hutt, they have scout papers. They have the individual players that's playing, and they have like how you guard them and what you should do, and yeah, so it's real serious, and we practice hard, and we practice every day, so
Yeah.
that's preparing us for the.
How do you think? Can you describe as a student athlete, as a player, kind of the culture Coach Turner has built here?
Student, he says student first, athlete second, so he's big on grades. If you're not doing well in the class, you should always ask for help. But if you just don't care and you're just not doing your work, then he won't play you, or he's real big on the school. So the program is real big on just education before basketball.
Now, refresh me again. You have a major, right? Did you declare one? What was it?
Business.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because I know we talked about it earlier. It's just
I was on the side.
so much has happened. How are your classes going?
No, they're going good. Yeah, they're going good.
And I can lead that into my next question. I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but what's the future look like for you? Have you been putting out feelers, or maybe hearing from four-year schools, or you have plans academically after this year? Nothing you can probably talk about too in depth, but
we gonna see.
yeah. Well, we got the postseason coming up. Let's talk about some of your teammates. Who are you kind of hoping just has like a great performance over the next couple of weeks? Yeah, I know Melo's been just going off the last few games, so we can put him on that list.
Miles, and you talking about freshmen or just?
Oh, just in general, just
Miles.
Yeah.
I just got a feeling that he gonna flip the switch.
Yeah.
Miles.
Yeah, can we expect to see a 3-pointer from you at all?
Probably not.
No, I need to figure out whoever put that into your stat sheet, because
that's false.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we hit record. It was a long 2, but not a 3.
Yeah, it was a long 2. And I had to shoot it. It was like 1 second on the clock.
Yeah. But we talked. It was I think one of the halftime interviews we did where
probably.
you brought up. Yeah. So I don't think that exists anywhere except YouTube at the moment in the middle of that game live stream. But you talked about Steph Curry being your favorite player. Was that it?
Yeah, that's my favorite player.
But then you also not shooting threes.
Yeah, you ain't gonna always have similarities to your favorite player.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
It'd be like that.
But yeah, how are you feeling before heading off to Owens?
I feel good. I feel like we're gonna go down there and win.
You got your fan club out here.
I feel like we're gonna go out there and win though.
Yeah. All right. Well, Devon, I'm not gonna keep you any longer. Appreciate you taking the time. Good luck to you guys in the postseason. And yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool.
Hey, we going for the Natty this year.
We'll see you back next week here on Coffee with the Wolves.
Bringing that ring back.